Do you sometimes feel like you're stuck in a never-ending cycle of financial crisis? Living paycheck to paycheck is like running on a wheel that just won't stop. Every month, it's the same story. The money runs out before you're halfway into the month. You find yourself staring at your bank account in disbelief, watching it hit zero just a few days after you cash that check. It's like going from feeling flush to flat broke in just the blink of an eye. You're not alone in this frustration. 78% of Americans can relate to this financial roller coaster. But let's take a step back and ask ourselves, should it be like this? Should you constantly be stressing over money? The answer is a resounding no. You're working. You shouldn't be struggling financially. To break free from this paycheck to paycheck struggle and gain control of your financial destiny, you've got to learn to handle your money differently. So, here are 9 steps to liberate yourself from the shackles of the never-ending payday race. Number 1. Prioritize your 4 most important needs before any other thing. Imagine building a strong, reliable foundation for your financial house. That's exactly what we're talking about here. There are 4 fundamental needs that every human must meet, and if any of these go unattended, your financial house might come crashing down. They are food, utilities, shelter, and transportation. When you're crafting your budget, make these essentials your first concern. Allocate enough funds to cover these basic needs to ensure you have a safety net throughout the month. You won't find yourself in a panic, needing to borrow money for gas, face a sudden electricity cutoff, getting eviction notices, or even worse, going hungry. Number 2, use a budget. Now, I'm not asking you to recall every dollar you spent since you started working. That would be daunting and irrelevant. But let's focus on the last paycheck you got last. You remember that, right? It's probably already vanished into thin air, but you can account for every dollar you spent. You bought 2 new pairs of jeans, paid some bills, and then, well, it gets fuzzy, doesn't it? That's the exact issue a budget can solve. It's your financial GPS showing you exactly where your money is going, what is being spent on, and how much is allocated to each expense. So, if you've been living without a budget, or maybe you've been budgeting mentally without jotting things down, it's time to get serious. Create a budget, and more importantly, stick to it like glue. This is the first step towards getting your financial life away from chaos and into clarity. Before that next paycheck hits your account, it's time to put your financial house in order. You're going to draft the budget. Sticking to your budget is like having a trusted guide by your side throughout the month. You won't end up in a cold sweat realizing you've blown your money on clothes, shoes, and parties, leaving your bills high and dry. Rather, you'll spend money on essential things you can account for. Number 3, cut unnecessary expenses. Once you've secured your essentials, take a closer look at your budget. You'll likely spot expenses that, upon closer inspection, aren't all that essential. These are the expenses you can live without, the nice-to-haves, the luxuries. Think streaming services, unused gym memberships, magazine subscriptions, nightly visits to the bar. You get the idea. When you cut back on dining out or ordering takeout, you'd be amazed at how much extra money you can free up. Here's a challenge for you. Take a break from spending on things like new shoes, movie nights out, or that fancy sports car you've been eyeing. Evaluate everything on your spending list that isn't part of your 4 crucial needs, and be ruthless about cutting them out. By eliminating these unnecessary expenses, you'll likely discover that you have more financial breathing room than you ever imagined. It's all about prioritizing what truly matters and distinguishing between wants and needs. When you do, you'll find that you can stop living paycheck to paycheck. Number 4, fortify your finances with an emergency fund. Living paycheck to paycheck feels like you're dangling on a thread, a step away from a financial catastrophic fall. What if I told you there's a safety net you can weave for yourself? The emergency fund is your financial safety blanket. It's like a rescue abode in case of a sudden storm. Think about it. What if you face a job loss or a real emergency? Without an emergency fund, you'd be stressed or down in debt. But you can start building this safety net right now. Begin by putting away whatever you can, aiming to reach at least $1,000. It might seem like a hefty goal, but remember, it's better to be prepared than to be filled with regret. With discipline and determination, you can make it happen. Number 5, crush your debt. Debt repayment is a nightmare to so many. It's like a relentless shadow, always lurking behind your paycheck, demanding its share. Debt takes money that could be working for you elsewhere and locks it into a never-ending cycle of repayments. But here's the truth: you can break free from its grip. First, let's address the lifestyle choices that often lead to debt. You know that buy now, pay later temptation that calls you? That's the siren song of financial instability. When you have to divide the cost of something into multiple payments just to afford it, it's a red flag. You can't really afford it. If you're serious about financial stability, steer clear of things you can't afford. If it's a necessity, save up for it patiently. Instead of diving into debt, save up and buy it outright. Ditch those credit cards. Only purchase items you can pay for in full. Better yet, if you can't buy 5 of the same item without breaking a sweat, you probably shouldn't buy it at all. Why? Because a mountain of debt is not a fashion statement or a symbol of luxury. Now, let's tackle the debt. Believe that you can pay it off. That's your first step. Then, embrace the mighty debt snowball method. It's like your financial sword in the battle against debt. This approach is all about psychological wins. Start by paying off your smallest debt first. Each victory fuels your motivation to tackle the next, and so on, until you're debt-free. Is it possible to banish debt from your life? Absolutely. It takes discipline, determination, and a bit of strategic thinking. But it's within your grasp. Imagine the weight off your shoulders and the freedom that comes with being debt-free. Number 6, increase your income. Perhaps you've diligently followed the previous steps living on a budget, focusing on your essentials and trimming unnecessary expenses. But you still find yourself on the paycheck-to-paycheck tightrope. Well, it's time to give your financial life a boost, and that means increasing your income. Yes, you heard that right. You just can't rely on cutting back. Sometimes you need to bring in more. There are numerous ways to do this, from picking up a side hustle to searching for a higher paying job, working extra hours, requesting a raise, investing, and more. The world of side hustles is vast and diverse. You can freelance, crypto trade, be a coach or consultant. The list is endless. Just take notice of your skills and interests and find a way to turn them into an extra income source. Number 7, live below your means. Just because your income has increased doesn't mean you should inflate your spending. It's a common trap. People start buying things they don't actually need simply because they're earning more. You may have some extra cash from your side gig, but it's not money to waste. The additional income should be for your savings account, investments, or building up your emergency fund. The real secret to financial success isn't just how much you earn. It's how you manage what you earn. So ask yourself, am I handling my finances wisely? Am I spending money on things I truly need? Take a cue from billionaires like Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, and Charlie Munger. They live below their means because that's the path to genuine financial stability. Number 8, save up for big purchases. Let's talk about those big ticket items you've had your eye on. Whether it's a piece of furniture or the latest gadget, resist the urge to spend your entire paycheck on all of them at once. Why? Because doing so can blow up your expenses. Instead, adopt a smarter approach. Save up for these purchases gradually. Set aside a portion of your income each month until you've saved enough to cover the costs. This way, your paycheck won't feel the strain, and you'll have the money you need for those significant purchases without sacrificing your financial stability. And lastly, number 9, stay focused on your goals. Let's be real. The journey from living paycheck to paycheck to achieving financial freedom isn't just an amazing stroll at the park. It's more like a challenging mountain climb that will test your tenacity. It will push you to your limits, and if you lack determination, it might feel impossible. But guess what? You can do it. The key to success in this journey is to keep your eyes firmly fixed on your goal. Ignore the need to prove to your friends that you can afford an item. Let it go. Instead, prove to them by retiring early and enjoying your active years doing what you like. That should keep you motivated. You owe it to yourself to stay inspired and committed to breaking free from financial struggle. It might not be an easy road, but when you think about the alternative, the constant financial mess, the insecurity of waiting on the next paycheck, you will realize that this is the route you want to take. Hope you enjoyed this video. If yes, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.